I forgot one important detail. Not something small, not something you remember later and brush off with a laugh. This was the kind of detail that stays quiet until it's too late to matter. When I left the city, I was convinced I was doing the right thing. New place, new routine, new life. I told myself I was escaping the noise, the sirens, the arguments through thin apartment walls, the feeling that I was constantly being watched, even when I was alone. I didn't tell anyone I was leaving. No goodbye messages, no forwarding address. I wanted to disappear. The house I found was buried deep in the countryside, one road leading to it, surrounded by trees so dense they swallowed sunlight by late afternoon, the kind of place where your phone loses signal and the silence presses in on you. The landlord didn't ask many questions. That should have been the first warning. He handed me the keys quickly, like they burned his fingers. His smile never reached his eyes. Before leaving, he paused at the door and said something I barely paid attention to. "Generator's automatic. Basement door stays locked." Then he left. I didn't ask why. The first night felt peaceful, too peaceful. No traffic, no distant voices, just the hum of the house settling, like it was breathing. I slept better than I had in years. The second night, I heard something outside, scratching. Slow, deliberate, right along the side of the house. I told myself it was an animal.
That's what you say when fear hasn't fully arrived yet. I stayed in bed, staring at the ceiling, counting seconds until the sound stopped. It didn't. On the third night, the scratching moved. Closer, right beneath my bedroom window. I didn't look outside. That was another detail I forgot. How much courage disappears once you acknowledge fear out loud. Instead, I turned up the volume on my phone and pretended the sound wasn't real. But when the scratching finally stopped, something else replaced it. Breathing, low, controlled, directly beneath the floorboards. I froze. I matched my breathing to it, hoping, stupidly, that if I synced up, whatever it was would think I belonged there too. It didn't match mine. The fourth day, I explored the house properly. I opened every cabinet, checked every closet, even crawled into spaces I normally would have avoided. That's when I found the door. Low, narrow, hidden behind shelves in the basement. No handle, just a lock. New, recently used. I laughed, trying to convince myself it was just a storage room. I told myself people in the countryside were weird about basements. I didn't have the key. That night, the scratching stopped completely. No breathing either. Instead, there were footsteps, slow steps, directly below me. I stayed awake until morning, staring at the bedroom door, convinced it would open at any second. On the fifth day, the power went out. The house fell into darkness, followed by the sudden roar of the generator kicking on, just like the landlord said it would.
Lights came back. All except one. The basement. I stood at the top of the stairs for a long time, flashlight in hand, arguing with myself. Fear told me to stay upstairs. Logic told me to make sure nothing was wrong. I went down. The door was open. I know it was locked before. I know that. Inside was a small concrete room, no windows, no furniture, just the walls, covered in tallies, hundreds of them, some deep, some faint, some overlapping like whoever made them had been in a hurry. They weren't random. They were counted. That's when the detail came back to me, the one I'd buried. I didn't leave the city to escape noise. I left because people there started noticing things about me, things I couldn't explain. People said they felt watched around me, that they heard their own voices when I wasn't speaking, that being near me made their thoughts feel crowded. I remembered the therapist's voice, calm, concerned. "You can't just isolate it," she said. "It learns. It adapts." I told her she was wrong. Behind me, the basement lights shut off. The generator died. I felt breath against my neck, warm, familiar. Then a whisper, in my voice, "You forgot one important detail." The tallies weren't counting days. They were counting how many times I'd tried to run. The basement door wasn't there to keep something out. It was there to remind me where it belonged. And now that I remembered, it didn't need the room anymore. Because it was never under the house. It was always inside me. And it finally remembered too.